Alright, so now that it's all out, we can see how many pieces we have here, and it's quite a few, but I don't think it's going to be too hard to put it together. So we're going to try to do it right quick, step by step. If you're not interested in this, and you want to skip to the part where it's finished, I'll leave a timestamp so you can do that. Alright, so let's start putting this thing together. Okay, so here we have the manual. So here's all of our pieces, and it kind of shows us a little picture here of how it's supposed to go together. Alright, so step one. So step one, we need this part of the frame, and then we need these angles here, and it tells us exactly what bolts we need and where they go. There's arrows pointing to the holes. So for step one, we're going to need this main piece here, and then 2 of these, and then we're going to need 4 M8 60mm bolts, and all this stuff is labeled, so it's not very hard to find. Alright, so we're going to pick up one of these ends, and the one that has the sticker to the outside. So in the instructions, it doesn't really show you anything but the bolt, but you do need a nut and a washer because there is a ton of them. So I think every bolt you put in, you would need to put a washer like that, and then we also need a nut for this because it's kind of hard to see, but here you can see it's just holes. There's no, nuts welded to the frame. So I'm gonna put 2 in here and then 2 back there, and then put that one on. Alright, and this is what it should look like when you're done. So we got 4 bolts in each of the corners. So, and I did use the provided wrench and Allen wrench there. So let's go to step 2 next. Looks like we're gonna have to connect these 2 frames here, which are those right there. So this is basically prolonging the frame going back. I think this is where our seat's gonna sit. And if we look at these pieces, we have like a little plastic cover here that kind of looks like a foot. You would think that goes down, but it actually goes up. So according to the manual, it looks like it goes like this. Just like that. As you can see here, it's showing you that these go up. But not only that, if we pop this cover off, you can see that we have another bolt to put inside it. And so the little bolts that go in there are the M8 15mm, and that's these over here. So they're basically the same as these, they're just smaller. And for these, all we need is just a washer because our nut is already welded inside the frame. Start it right there and then tighten it. And go ahead and put these in there too. Alright, so once you put these in and put that one in and tighten it all we gotta do is put the cap back on. Same thing for this side. And so this is what we have so far. So let's go to step 3. Alright, so for step 3, looks like we're gonna be connecting the shifter plate and the handbrake plate, looks like. Alright, and these are the pieces that we're going to need. So I think this isn't like an adapter for a handbrake. I'm pretty sure that we're not going to need this piece at the moment because we're just using a Logitech G920. So, but if you do have the full setup with the handbrake, you will be using this plate here. So I think all we got to do is just put this piece into here, and then we have 3 bolts that go through there. And they are the same long ones we've been using. They go just like that, and eventually this will mount to the frame somewhere. Now on step 3 here, we have another option for motion, and this is where this kit right here comes, this bar here, and also this little baggie here that says parts for the motion platform. So we're not going to use that also. But the cool part is, if we ever did get a motion, we'd have this extra piece that we need. Alright, so let's go to step 4, and that is installing the adjustable platform here on the top. So these are these 2 pieces, and you can see they have a lot of thread holes here. And so these are going to be the adjustable on the frame part where the steering wheel goes. The holes facing that way, and just in there. So I guess for now we're just going to put them somewhere in the middle, and then later we'll have to adjust it up and down once we put the seat on. So also on step 4, we have to put in this back piece right here, and it just simply goes in between here like that, and then we have 4 bolts. So far we're making pretty good progress, and it's actually not that difficult as I thought it would be. Alright, and those bolts are in, but we did not need the nuts because there were actually welded nuts on the back of this plate. So that's pretty nice. Alright, so let's go to step 5, and that looks like to be this top plate here where the steering wheel mounts. Somehow go right on top of here. And it does look like we're going to need 4 of these M860s. The wedge part goes to the front. So yeah, it simply just goes like that, and then the other one kind of goes through any of these. So this would need to be adjusted when the wheel is on. So I'm going to go ahead and snug these up, but not all the way since we're going to be moving it. So also for step 5, we have this bottom plate here, and this is where our pedals will mount. This is the adjustable bracket, which is this right here, but then we got something else that goes on top. So the adjustable little holes here go to the front like this, looks like it's going to be this hole and this one, so you're going to skip 2, I think. But in any case, you're going to use those same long bolts, M8 60s. Alright, so this is in, and I'm not tightening yet because I don't really know how I want it. So the next step is step 6, and it's actually the brake plate that goes on top of that, and it's that piece right there, and it's quite large, and it holds with the M8 15mm bolts. Alright, and that's where the plate goes. It's also adjustable on these rails here. But yeah guys, it looks like we're almost done. We're so close. So step 7 is going to be the shifter. So depending on where you live, you're going to either go on the right or the left side. So here in the picture it's showing it on the left side, but we need ours on the right. And it's quite simple because you can either put it like this on the right side, or you can flip it around and put it like that. 1, 2, 3 bolts that go through there. Alright, and so the shifter bracket is on. Alright, so that leads us to step 8, and step 8 is actually pretty much everything else. So we can go ahead and put the seat on. If we're going to put the feet on, which we have 2 types here we can use. We can use the coasters or these solid feet. So here's what this foot looks like, which seems to be quite a nice foot. I think it's just hard plastic. So you have this option, or we do have the coasters option here. And I think that's what we're going to go with because we're kind of limited on space and we might have to move this thing around, so it would be nice if we could roll it around. Wow, even the coasters are nicely packed. There's a nice little diagram here that shows you how to lock them. Wow, they're actually lockable coasters. And there's 10 of them with 2 spares. Okay, cool. So I guess we're going to need 8 total. We're going to also need these things too. They appear to be some kind of metal washers. They're actually quite nice. So each one of them has this locking mechanism. So when it's up like that, it rolls easy, and then when you put it down, it locks it. And I'm guessing the metal washer probably goes like that. Alright, so I'm gonna flip this frame on its side so we can put these coasters on. Alright, so all the rollers are on. Very nice. So now we'll be able to roll this thing around. Alright, so finally step 10, we have the seat. And the seat should just sit on the frame. It has these little flaps, and then the bolt should go right through here. So if your seat's not going in, kind of like mine, what we need to do is we need to loosen these 2 here so the frame can kind of separate a little bit. Then the seat will go through. And there it goes. So then we're just going to need to line it up, so depending on how close or how far you want to be. Plus you have adjustment on the seat back and forth, but this is a more rough adjustment on the bottom. So this is quite an easy process. And our seat will be installed. So that's pretty much everything except for one more part, and it actually goes up front here on the pedals. And it's these long bolts, and they actually go through like this and then down into there. Basically, you'll put them in once you're done with everything adjusting. And then I think we need to put a nut on the back here. That way we can compress it together. So it's going to help it hold it from flexing to the front. And by the way guys, these rollers are awesome. I mean, this thing just rolls around like no issue. Alright, so I got the Logitech G920 steering wheel set here. So it's already all wired together. So we're going to start putting it on the frame, and I got Marcus with me. So Marcus is going to help me adjust everything because I want to adjust it to his size so we can both play on the same simulator. So Marcus, what do you think about the simulator?
I like it. It's really cool.
It is, isn't it? So you like the seat? Mm-hmm. Man, the seat is almost as tall as you are, dude. Well, go ahead and sit down and see what it feels like. So yeah, he's definitely not reaching it right now. Well, first things first, let's move up the seat. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull on that lever under the seat, bro. I think that's all the way it goes, bro. I think that might work. What about the shifter? Can you reach the shifter? Okay, you can reach that. Okay, so it might be a little bit of a stretch for you. Worst case, we might have to put something behind your back. Alright, so I guess let's start with the steering wheel because that's the, main part, right? It's got a little bit of spaghetti behind it. And put it on here somehow. Okay, Marcus, hold the wheel right there. We can definitely mount it under here because you can see there's a lot of mounting holes. And I think the screws that come with the kit here, or the bolts should I say, will fit into there. So yeah, Marcus, it's way too high, isn't it? And it's leaning the wrong way. Alright, so I think we got it pretty decent. Alright, see if you can reach barely, but you can reach it. Look at that. So it looks like that'll work about where it is. I can go back just a little more, but it looks like he can reach it right there. So I'm gonna work on attaching the pedals, and also we have the shifter here go somewhere right here. So here's the cool part, guys. These little bolts here, they actually fit the Logitech here, all the hardware, and I think they probably fit a bunch of other stuff too. So that's pretty cool that I will be able to use the bolts provided here to mount all this, so it'll be super solid. Alright, so everything's adjusted. 2 bolts that went into here, then we got 6 bolts that went into the pedals underneath. And then we got 2 more bolts that went into here, and then these clamps hold it really good too. So everything is super solid, and the pedals are extremely rigid. All right, so we're getting really close to finishing up here. So what we need to do is do a little bit of wire management. And the cool part is that Next Level Racing included these little Velcro ties here to go around the frame to manage the wires. So I'm gonna go around and kind of zip everything up, and then we're gonna set up our Xbox and the TV and finally give this thing a spin. All right guys, so we finally got it all set up and connected to the TV. So we even put a light underneath it so it kind of looks more dramatic. So we got our 4K Samsung TV and an Xbox One S over there. So the stand is looking really good.